The following podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Any unauthorized distribution or duplication may result in criminal prosecution, civil liability, and the wrath of the tall man. And at this point, let's say the following podcast is scheduled for one fall with a 19-minute time limit. So, yeah. This is 90 for Chill, the podcast with Cat Bus Russ, and Fan Expo's closing a little early for Friday, I think. Like, they had a lot of fun events yesterday, as discussed previously. The Nerd Last show from Nerdum Universe, that's at least it gave us something to do after 8 p.m. I couldn't see anything scheduled today. Perhaps there's some drinking and drawing still available down there. Maybe even some free bingo. Back up in the room, and I complain about no after hours, but it was a far more eventful day. You actually had the celebrities, so you had the panels, and I checked out 3 of those. First being Tara Strong. She's a really sweet person, and this is where we were noted, don't record anything, especially with the, since we're under the SAG and WGA strikes. Thus, if we record anything, it's going to end up possibly being, spun if it gets online, what have you. So I was taking some photos, and, just to show I was there, in all honesty. It's not about memories. Despite, as I wait for AEW Rampage, it's a good place to say that I've got, a score of concussions. So, yeah, maybe I do need these things. Think about that, Fan Expo. Think about that, SAG. Oh, I really shouldn't say SAG, because I'm obviously in support of the strike. But I digress. It was just Tara Strong really just, made people's day, I think and when that's your 11 a.m. panel, that's really a nice way to start. Or perhaps it should have been a good way to end, I guess, scheduling wise. I don't know. So I then went and, went on the floor. Didn't buy too much stuff today. Just some essentials. I can definitely, pull them out of my bag. So, got some patches from, not patches. Okay, now it's in my, so I did whip out the Captain N cosplay, and it was recognized once, which, is a W. It means it's not totally lost. So that with that, I had a hole in a spot on my jacket where a badge had fallen off, and then essentially I just went and found new pins for that spot, to cover it up. And I'm just very happy I haven't lost any of my pins. So those pins were purchased at Logan Arch. They're a Chicago company, and you can follow them on Instagram. Tumblr's nice, but, well, that's not Tumblr. I don't know. I can't even tell. That's probably Pinterest, but Logan Arch Chicago and loganarchchicago.com. And, I thought they were, so it's just simple stuff. Bulbasaur, of course, and a Nintendo 64 controller, which I really need to go and get that Nintendo 64 out of so I can play some games just to get a feel on it. And I gotta further research the loaded arcade box, a third-party, SKG Retro Gaming. So I hope I'm not ratting this skeptical geek out. But yeah, I'm looking to get their loaded package, so which is going to have pretty much all the arcade games I grew up with. And it's the Game Boy library too on the Atari 20. Oh, geez, yeah. Well, I mean, if I have the money, I probably will leave with one of those. can't help myself. So yeah, looking for the business card for the a nice Daft Punk themed Tron sticker I got, but also, well, let's see, trying to find her card. I guess I don't have it, but I just can't wait to bring this lanyard home, hook up my keys to my primary job that I open with, and everybody's asking, hey, can you let me into the administration office? And hey, you know what? You grab this now. You get this. Ask me my pronouns. So, yeah, I'm trying to get under people's skin a little bit, but it's a pretty good. Most of my fellow employees are pretty good people. So, I think we're losing the anti-vaxxer. I mean, there's plenty of anti-vaxxers, but the predominant one. So, yeah, I don't want to say it's getting better because they are a hell of a worker. I don't know. My experience there at work is just basically, hey, I can't just be the only one handling this portion of it. Don't just oh, well, it's more fun if I go over to this department. Oh, yeah, but you have responsibilities. So nobody respects customer service. So, yeah. So that's about all I got on the floor. I ended up trying to find a nice tumbler so that I can go and partake in some Moscow mules. I never do it properly. I need that metal cup, and which is sad because I have that at home, and I just like to use my Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Yub Nub cup, and we'll go from there, I suppose. But there, I've been carrying a water bottle I keep refilling with the free water and spraying down some caffeinated Mio into it to keep me going. And, it's fair. I didn't buy anything from that vendor, so my Mio disappearing, well, I guess that's just karma. So, sorry to have wasted her time still. But, hey, she was doing her best. I'm going to give her that. So, talking about drinking, though, I have in my hand right now the Old Smoky Moonshine. I guess you'd call it a creamsicle. So orange cream and moonshine. See how this goes down? That's actually rather nice. The orange comes in with an aftertaste. So, perks of my other job, I suppose. Oh, right. So, panel-wise then was Christopher Lloyd, was fun, but it was very much controlled. He's 90 years old, so I get it why we didn't really line people up for questions, just to look after him. I don't want to think of him like that, though. This guy moves great for 90, so it's I just don't want to think of him as an old man. I mean, I've thought of him as an old man since the 80s, I want to think of him as some kind of immortal, dare I say. So, we go from that panel. I checked out the a wrestling podcast recording, and I, finally fooling around with this apps and the website and everything for Fan Expo. I've got an idea of how to get my podcast, 90 for Chill, the podcast, which, of course, you're listening to on public, get a table, get some time, do a live show. So, hey, as I say, it took 2 fan fests to figure that out, but hey, we got it straight. The wrestling podcast was Wrestling Memories, I believe, with Mark and Sal. I don't have my, obviously my phone's at 10% right now. I don't really want to screw around with the apps and such, just playing this, and who knows, maybe there will be one fall before this recording ends. But they were, I don't know, about that. They really wanted a lot of fan interaction, and it's one, they kind of focused on their own experiences with becoming wrestling fans, And that was enough that I don't think they would have had the time to really dive into our opinion. So sadly, no chance to promote Tigger Mask 4 from AAW in Chicago, or I think Cage Match does document El Futbol Loco, the limey luchador that I portrayed. So, but it's good to see that their passionate fandom. I don't know if I'm about all of their, how I want to see the business turn. Like, yes, I'm happy that the wrestlers aren't addicts like they were when I grew up, and even all the way, halfway through pretty much the entire, not until I left the scene, it was pretty much like that, I'd say. So, but it's changed a lot, and I think these wrestlers are now considering themselves athletes first, and I'm a fighter, brawler, wrestler, but that's me. So they were, I'm gonna do a little more research and maybe give them a listen. I need podcasts with Marty and Sarah being off. And I did find there's a Lincoln Lodge podcast network. Lincoln Lodge was the host of the first Colt Cabana Learns Improv, which I went to the 2020 C2E2. So, so yeah, I should probably stop by that booth tomorrow and try to sell myself. So we'll see about that. Then it was the Peter Weller panel, which was a lot of fun because Peter Weller went and did a Michael Rooker. He just took the mic and he was running the show. Now, he was very much about, no, you can't take pictures. Definitely no recording, but no pictures. He was getting people's cameras, pulled. So it's one of those hypocrisies, like, we have paid, for these memories, and we should get to remember them however we like. Screw what your union says, because it's like, one, it makes you guys look like, well, we can't because our hands are cuffed. But this is a personal experience. No, definitely not talk about his shows that are currently on the air, because that's definitely a violation. And again, I get the no recordings, and because of the way things can be spun, but to just say, don't take my picture, just playing your trumpet, which is fun. I guess it was just a fun educational podcast. Well, not educational podcast, a fun information-filled panel. I didn't realize Peter Weller had a doctorate, and he was very intellectual about every answer he gave, be it Buckaroo Banzai's depth or working with Paul Verhoeven. It then all turns into a large philosophical story. But we also heard stories about him and Christopher Walken and Christopher Lloyd, which were a lot of fun. And it's fun to find that Walken and Lloyd, two of probably considered the weirdest people in Hollywood, think each other's weird, or at least Walken thinks Lloyd's weird. And it's cool, though, that Weller's got a great voice, great ability for impersonations. I mean, this is a guy who should be doing the panels. I mean, granted, he's directing, he's got a lot on his plate, but like Rooker, it's like, no, you are a show. If anything, start doing a one-man show tour. There, we definitely won't pull our phones out. So, yeah, so that was Peter Weller. And then I checked out a panel about a new book written called The Invisible Men, which is about basically why was there only one black artist in terms of comic books in the golden age between the 30s and the 50s. And we get to find out, it basically is a story about giving history finally for black and minority writers. Well, not writers, artists in this case, which is really, just a great cause. It was interesting because the book's written by a white man, and the panel was otherwise black people, and but he, it's almost like I kind of feel bad for the others on the panel because, well, he's telling the story, and just in the sense that, well, there's not really too much to add. That's how thorough his book seemingly is. So, again, I'll have to, well, let me try it while we're here. Hopefully it's going to keep recording. Let me see. So the invisible... So it's Invisible... Okay, no. The book is... So the panel is Invisible Histories and the Black Imagination comic books. And it was a book written by... So the author was Ken Quattro. So Invisible Men, Trailblazing Black Artists of Comic Books. And they had the Dr. Stanford Carpenter who wrote the foreword to it. So... I mean, it was just a very educational, and you get to really even re-examine some of the pioneers of comics, basically. We investigate, how the Superman was written by Jews through the, as they were trying to create a white character, and Will Eisner, the writer of The Spirit, and his complicated history of race, as yes, he gave us wrote a positive black character in Ebony White, but drew a racial caricature. So very educational, and this, so if you're looking for something, yeah, I haven't read the book, obviously, but this is a great place to start. This is something that would probably be banned in Florida, so definitely take the time to read it if you get a chance. I guess I'm going to have to buy a copy, so... Oh, man, am I going to walk away with a Saber Order lightsaber or that loaded video game emulator? I don't know. So I did miss Giancarlo Esposito's panel. I've seen him do a panel before, so I didn't really feel bad, and that was for the Weller panel. So why Weller's not on the main stage? Well, again, Fan Expo, do a better job. I mean, this guy could have probably been our after-hours entertainment with his trumpet and what have you. The guy, I mean, that was his panel. He was doing jazz. So yeah, I had a lot of fun, and now it's just sitting in my hotel room, dealing with the Poetic Critics, scheduling room maintenance, housekeeping. Probably before I want to really get out of here, and yeah, other things like, okay, what are we doing about towels? He has a solution, and you know what? We'll leave my approval or disapproval of that for another time, I suppose. So yeah, that was Fan Expo Day 2. Here's something. I really wish we had some more creative panels instead of like, well, intro to this, intro to that. Like, yeah, intro to Star Wars. Done that. Ghostbusters. Yeah, I know that. I don't need that intro. I mean, I guess it's good if you're bringing your kids. It's a Friday. This should be Saturday stuff, I suppose. So that's... But yeah, I really wish I could have gone and done more panel work instead of walking aimlessly through the show floor and, biting my, keeping myself away from buying extra things. So, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, as I said, that is Fan Expo today. Tomorrow is going to be the busy day, so... It's almost like, well, Russ, you're going to have to put the jacket on again. Because, I mean, I liked my makeshift cosplay for Back to the Future, but I don't think it's really going to matter. That panel's got canceled. I know Chevy Chase is canceled, so a lot of the stuff for the... a lot of the stuff, if I wasn't the one who took the Poetic Critic to the show, it would have been my dad. And basically most of the stuff that he'd like has probably been canceled by this point. So yeah, an Iffy Friday. There's going to be, I don't know if I'm going to do a K-pop dance party. tomorrow. That's the after hours. But, a little better planning. I'd probably be down at the park they have in Rosemont, eating some good food and perhaps getting that $15 serving of Glenmorangie, I guess is how we pronounce it in the States. 15 like I did last year at the Four Roses. I mean, it's all Americana food, and I do not like sugar, so... Actually, the food at Sugar's not bad. It's just I don't want a loud place where everybody's at. Yeah, so... shit, I should have looked at Zanies, but... We'll think about that tomorrow, I suppose, so... thanks for checking out this bonus episode of 90 for Chill, the podcast with Cat Bus Russ, and I will report again tomorrow.